Hey everybody, Dr. Eric Plasker here. Welcome to the 100-Year Lifestyle, and I'm here with really smart man, Dr. Patrick Porter. We're going to talk about the brain today, right?
Yep, nice being here.
Great to be here. And Dr. Porter, he travels all over the world. He has an organization, company, BrainTap Technologies, and when it comes to longevity, Dr. Patrick, there are so many things about the brain that we are learning that maybe our parents had misinformation, things that were not true. What have we learned about the brain as people are thinking about the longevity that they need to know?
Well, we used to think the brain was fixed. So at 7 or 8 years old, you had your brain and it was fixed. You couldn't change it. Now they know that the brain can change. They call it neuroplasticity. So actually they know the brain can evolve and rebuild itself at any age.
Yeah, that's exciting, and I hear what you're saying, because a lot of you know the story of why we're so passionate about what we're doing. My son had a brain injury, a fall as a child. We were told he'd never walk, talk, or use his arm, and now he's a chiropractor practicing in Oregon, doing an amazing job. And we were told that, hey, by 6 years old, he'd be done. His brain would not be able to develop anymore, so we were in a hurry. And what can people do? Why is it different today? What do we know about neuroplasticity? What does it really mean?
Well, neuroplasticity means the brain can rechannel. Let's say you damage the frontal cortex, and so you're not able to have as much cognitive thinking. They now know there are therapies where we can bring light, sound, vibration to that area, which means we can bring nutrients to that area. We can get the toxins out of that area. We now know that sleep is such a key component to that. So if you're not getting the deep level 4 sleep, you're not getting the brain's not able to detox. We now know that there are certain behavior patterns you can have. There's food that feeds the brain. We're not just so fixed on thinking that also your thoughts. I mean, if you have negative thoughts, they now know that it can actually cause you to have what we call sympathetic survival syndrome, which means you're stressed out. If your body's always shutting down or stressed or worried all the time, that's not good for the brain.
Yeah.
So we want to be more optimistic, and all healing, all improvement to the body really happens in a parasympathetic state. So doing things like yoga, dance, martial arts, chiropractic care, what we call brain tapping, which is a form of meditation really, to really train the brain. We need those down times as well as we need those up times. And I know in the 100-Year Lifestyle, you talk about, the prep times and the fun times.
Right.
And I think too many people in our last 10 to 15 years have been so gung-ho about getting things, they forgot, what are you going to do when you get there? They haven't prepared. So I think one of the things is start getting that downtime to an enjoyable fun time that's really going to be brain. Physical activity has so much to do with the brain that they now know that it used to be, hey, you get a brain injury, go sit in the dark room, don't have any light. They know that's not true
Just
anymore.
The opposite is true.
Just the opposite. So there's a lot of things out there, and right now we're all getting better looking and more intelligent with age. So we need
of us, right?
Yes, all of us. So we really need to start thinking about, with the biggest fear in the world is not public speaking anymore. The biggest fear is getting old without our memories. The reality is we can retain those memories. Think of ancient cultures. They didn't turn over the tribal wisdom to the young guys.
No.
They turned it over to the elders. So our brains are designed to recall and remember, keeping things like having a high quality fat diet, not the bad fats, but the good fats. The brain is so much fat. It needs fat to survive.
And cholesterol.
So a lot of things that we're finding they think are good for one thing are bad for the other, like statin drugs and things like that.
Yeah.
So we need to basically get back to earth and eat as natural as possible. And, just start thinking differently. Do things differently.
Right.
The brain is designed to shut down because it uses 20 to 25% of the energy of the body. So as we gain in age, what happens is the brain's saying, hey, we can conserve some energy here. Let's shut down this function, that function. But if we use it, we don't lose it.
Yeah, I love that.
So we want to keep our brain working. It's just like a muscle. It works better when it's being used. So we want to keep doing that. Challenge yourself. But also, it's not just challenging and stressing it. We need to have that downtime, that relaxing, doing some breathing exercises. Breathing is so key for brain function.
Yeah.
So.
Oxygen, resting your sympathetic nervous system, all that. I want to go back a little bit to where you talked about aging. And one of the big things, if you're watching this, many of you may have aging parents or grandparents who are suffering on some level with memory issues or physical issues and challenges that are related to the brain. And I think, Dr. Patrick, one of the things people enjoy about this whole consciousness and this movement that we have created is we're getting people to realize that that's not the way that it's supposed to be, that our parents and grandparents are not decaying and deteriorating because of the number of years they're alive, but because of the misinformation, or they feel like they've lived on borrowed time and life is over. But the reality is true. What are you noticing in not just middle-aged and older people, but young people as well that tap into, for example, the technology that BrainTap technology offers?
Well, one thing is that when we were younger, we used to take naps, and they know that there's a lot of power in naps because we got to unload all this stress. Your body works like an electric circuit, and in a circuit there's something called a capacitor. It holds a charge and then it has to discharge. Unfortunately, over the past 20, 25 years, we've learned to discharge through alcohol, drugs, smoking, all these things that we're now undoing because we have to have healthy ways to do that. It's okay to be stressed and do these things, but what people are doing is they're finding, hey, let's exercise, let's eat healthy, let's do these things that are immediately gratifying, really, when you think about the long-term benefits of them. So
and you think about too, when you have mom and dad working in the home and they don't get home till late, and then they have to take care of the kids, and so it's either working 2 jobs or that full-time job plus then taking care of your family, and they don't get that downtime. You're right.
Right. So it doesn't take long to learn. When you're talking about, if you have a parent or a grandparent or even yourself is suffering from like dementia or fear of that, they now know that through light therapy we can re-engage the brain. And there are technologies where you literally can light up the brain, if you will, and keep it functioning. They've actually reversed Alzheimer's now.
Yeah.
Whether it be through stem cell technology or through light technology, I think if you can hang in there and do the right things over the next few years, we're going to see some magic happening out there in the world.
Very exciting. And so tell us, we, as obviously as a practicing chiropractor for 33 years, seeing how people can start to get their spine adjusted stimulates the brain, and people that seem old, all of a sudden they start to wake up, and then you have this technology with light and voice and meditations that you give. Talk to us about how those things could work together for people. Talk to us about how light and how sound and how affirmations, how do they make a difference? Do they really work, and how do we know that they work?
Okay. Well, we have a lot of research you can get on it, and we're going to be hopefully sharing that through the 100-Year Lifestyle program. But literally, the spine is the keyboard to the brain. So what science is proving now, because we have neuroscience now, we can see, hey, what's happening in there. We know when you make an adjustment to the body, you're really adjusting the brain. So then what happens is, and we also know through EEG, which is a way to read brains and what's happening with the electrical magnitude and activity in the brain, that when you do that adjustment, you're literally balancing the brain. And so now what we can do is, through this neuroplasticity concept, we can get the brain wiring and firing around that change as long as we can keep them relaxed. And what we're doing is we're going to provide light, sound, and vibration to the brain at certain frequencies. So right now we're here in Florida, and it's beautiful out here, and you can hear the waterfall in the background. That waterfall is actually an isochronic tone generator.
Yeah, so I'm feeling
kind
of relaxed right now as we're talking.
So it's creating a 10 hertz frequency.
Yeah.
So 10 hertz frequency is alpha. It also creates a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, which makes you feel good. If you don't have the opportunity to do that, like doing your hobbies, doing things that make you feel good, your brain doesn't produce that acetylcholine. You start feeling bad, and then the brain habituates to that. So the real key here is to find things you love doing that are healthy for your body. Find environments like this that are healthy for your body. Do things that allow your body to express, because the body wants to adapt to its environment. If you're inside all the time, watching television, not moving, they say that's the next smoking. Yeah. So our bodies are designed to move, and
the brain and the spinal cord and the nervous system, that is the organ of adaptation.
Yeah.
So
what happens is when the brain isn't working correctly, the brain literally, or the skull, is always breathing. That's bringing up the spinal fluid through if that's not working right, we're not going to think right, we're not going to detox.
Yeah.
It moves the lymphatic system out. That sucks the toxins out of the brain. So if the spine isn't right, the brain isn't right. So we've got to get it all together. There's got to be that mind-body combination to really make it work.
Beautiful. Well, this is going to be the first of many interviews that we're going to have to discuss different topics. Give us one thing that a person can right now to do differently right now to start to support their brain and to support their brain health for a lifetime?
Well, if you do watch television, which I hope you don't watch too much of it, then spend some time during the commercials doing some deep breathing exercises. Which means like breathe into the mental count of 4 to start with, hold it to the mental count of 4, then breathe out to the mental count of 4, and increase that up to 8 to 10. You're going to find that alone is going to stimulate lymphatic function, which is going to help you to get rid of brain fog. It's going to bring energy into your body. And then get out and start doing something like dance, martial arts, yoga,
movement.
some kind of movement.
Right.
Whatever you do is get the spine moving. Be safe about it, but moving, do some stretching. Your body wants to be used, so get out there and use it.
Absolutely, Bob. Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick. It's been a great time. We've had a great time. We're going to bring you a lot more great information. Thank you so much
great being
for
here,
being
Dr.
here. Very good.